Imagine living in a world where there is no electricity in your home, no Wi-Fi, no smartphones, no television, no electric cars, and even the power grid that keeps entire cities alive simply doesn't exist. Now imagine that one man laid the foundation for almost all of it, yet he died alone, poor and forgotten. This is the unbelievable story of Nikola Tesla, the genius who helped invent the modern world. But here's the shocking part. While everyone remembers Thomas Edison, very few people know that many of the technologies powering our daily lives were actually made possible by Tesla's ideas. His inventions changed civilization forever. His predictions sounded impossible, and some people even believe his greatest inventions were hidden from the world. So who was Nikola Tesla? And why is he often called the greatest inventor in history? Let's find out. Nikola Tesla was born on July 10th, 1856, in a small village called Smiljan, which is now part of Croatia, but was then within the Austrian Empire. From childhood, Tesla was unlike other children. He had an extraordinary memory. He could memorize entire books after reading them only once. Instead of drawing inventions on paper, he built them completely inside his mind. He would rotate machines mentally, test every moving part, discover flaws, and improve the design, all without creating a single physical model. Years later, he proudly said he could design an entire machine in his imagination, operate it for weeks, and know exactly where it would wear out before ever building it. It sounded impossible, yet this became one of his greatest superpowers. Tesla also had an unusual obsession with numbers. He often repeated actions 3 times. He carefully counted his steps. He preferred hotel rooms whose numbers were divisible by 3. Many believe he had obsessive-compulsive tendencies, but for Tesla, these rituals were simply part of how his brilliant mind worked. As he grew older, his fascination with electricity became unstoppable. He studied engineering and physics, though he never officially graduated. Instead of chasing degrees, he chased ideas that would change the future. In his early 20s, Tesla worked for telephone companies across Europe. Even then, his employers noticed he solved engineering problems faster than anyone else. Eventually, he received an opportunity that would change his life forever. He moved to America. The year was 1884. Tesla arrived in New York with almost no money. According to popular accounts, he carried only a few belongings, some calculations for flying machines, and a letter of recommendation addressed to one of the world's most famous inventors, Thomas Edison. The letter reportedly said something extraordinary. "I know 2 great men, and you are one of them. The other is this young man." Tesla quickly began working for Edison. At first, everything seemed perfect. Edison admired hard-working engineers. Tesla admired innovation. But their biggest disagreement would soon become one of the most famous rivalries in scientific history. It all centered around one question: how should electricity be delivered to the world? Edison believed in direct current, or DC, electricity. Tesla believed the future belonged to alternating current, known as AC. To understand why this mattered, imagine trying to transport water through pipes. If the pressure is too low, very little water reaches distant places. DC electricity had a similar problem. It lost power quickly over long distances. That meant power stations had to be built every few blocks. It was expensive, inefficient, and nearly impossible for supplying entire countries. Tesla had a completely different vision. He believed electricity should travel hundreds of kilometers with minimal energy loss. His AC system allowed voltage to be increased for transmission, and safely reduced before reaching homes. It was revolutionary. Today, this principle powers nearly every electrical grid on Earth. But Edison refused to accept Tesla's idea. Their disagreement turned into what history now calls the War of Currents. It wasn't just a scientific debate. It became a battle worth millions of dollars. Edison launched public demonstrations showing animals being electrocuted with AC electricity to convince people it was too dangerous. Fear spread rapidly. Newspapers warned citizens that alternating current could kill. Meanwhile, Tesla remained focused on science rather than publicity. He demonstrated AC safely by allowing high-frequency current to pass through his own body during public lectures. Spectators watched in amazement as electric lamps lit up in his hands without harming him. The demonstrations shocked audiences and slowly began changing public opinion. Still, Tesla needed someone powerful enough to support his revolutionary system. That person soon appeared. Industrialist George Westinghouse recognized Tesla's genius almost immediately. Instead of dismissing his ideas, Westinghouse purchased Tesla's AC patents for a significant sum and agreed to develop the technology on a massive scale. Together, they prepared for the biggest test in electrical history. The opportunity arrived during the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. Millions of visitors were expected. Whoever powered the exhibition would prove which electrical system deserved to electrify the future. The competition was fierce. On one side stood Thomas Edison and his supporters. On the other stood Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse. The entire world was watching. When darkness fell, thousands of electric lights suddenly illuminated the fairgrounds. Buildings glowed brilliantly. Crowds stared in disbelief. It was unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Tesla's AC system had won. The success was so overwhelming that it forever changed the direction of electrical engineering. Soon afterward, an even greater challenge awaited: harnessing one of the most powerful waterfalls on Earth, Niagara Falls. If Tesla could successfully convert its massive force into electricity and transmit it over long distances, the debate would be over forever. Failure would destroy his reputation. Success would change civilization. And what happened next would make Nikola Tesla one of the most important inventors the world has ever known. The year was 1895. The world stood at the edge of a new era. Engineers had dreamed for decades of harnessing the immense power of Niagara Falls, but no one had successfully built a system capable of transmitting that electricity over long distances. Many believed it was impossible, but Nikola Tesla had been preparing for this moment his entire life. Using Tesla's revolutionary alternating current system, giant generators were installed at Niagara Falls. When the system was finally switched on, electricity traveled nearly 40 kilometers to the city of Buffalo, New York. For the first time in history, a massive hydroelectric power plant supplied electricity to a distant city. It wasn't just an engineering victory, it was proof that Tesla had been right all along. From that day forward, AC electricity became the global standard. Today, almost every modern electrical grid on Earth still follows the same fundamental principles Tesla developed more than a century ago. But Tesla wasn't satisfied. He wasn't interested in becoming rich. He wanted to change the future. His imagination was already decades ahead of everyone else. One of his most famous inventions was the Tesla coil. At first glance, it looked like a strange machine, throwing giant bolts of lightning into the air. Crowds gathered just to watch it. Electric arcs, several meters long, filled the room with an incredible display of energy. People thought it was magic, but Tesla saw it as the beginning of something much greater. He believed electricity could one day travel through the air without wires. Imagine charging your phone without plugging it in. Imagine powering homes, cars, or even entire cities wirelessly. More than 100 years later, wireless charging has become a reality, though on a much smaller scale than Tesla imagined. His ideas were simply too far ahead of his time. Tesla's imagination didn't stop there. In 1898, he demonstrated a small, radio-controlled boat. To the audience, it seemed impossible. There were no visible wires, no one inside the boat, yet it obeyed every command Tesla gave. Many spectators believed he had hidden a tiny animal inside or was using magic. But Tesla calmly explained that it was controlled by invisible radio waves. Today, radio-controlled technology exists everywhere, from drones and garage doors to satellites and space exploration. Tesla had demonstrated it decades before the world understood its true potential. Another major controversy surrounded the invention of radio. For years, Guglielmo Marconi received worldwide credit for inventing radio communication. However, many of Marconi's early systems relied on patents that Tesla had filed years earlier. In 1943, months after Tesla's death, the Supreme Court of the United States restored several of Tesla's earlier patent claims, recognizing that his work had preceded key parts of Marconi's. Even today, historians continue to debate exactly how credit should be shared, but Tesla's contribution to radio technology is undeniable. Despite his brilliance, Tesla struggled financially. Unlike many inventors, he cared little about business. He often sold valuable patents for far less than they were worth. On one occasion, he even released royalty agreements that could have made him one of the richest people in the world because he wanted his technology to continue developing. Money was never his goal. Progress was. Then came his most ambitious dream, the Wardenclyffe Tower. Tesla believed he could build a gigantic tower capable of transmitting information and possibly electrical power across vast distances without wires. If successful, people around the world could communicate instantly. Some historians see this as an early vision of a globally connected communication network. Construction began on Long Island, New York. The enormous tower attracted worldwide attention. But there was one problem: money. Tesla's primary investor, financier J.P. Morgan, became skeptical as costs rose and the project's commercial value remained uncertain. Funding stopped. Construction came to a halt. Eventually, the unfinished tower was demolished. One of history's boldest technological dreams disappeared before it could be fully tested. As the years passed, Tesla became increasingly isolated. New inventors gained fame. New companies made fortunes. Meanwhile, the man who helped build the electrical age quietly faded from public attention. He spent much of his later life living in New York hotels, often unable to pay the bills. He developed a deep affection for pigeons and cared for injured birds every day. Many people misunderstood these habits and dismissed him as eccentric, but his mind never stopped creating. Even in old age, Tesla described ideas for advanced aircraft, renewable energy, robotics, remote-controlled weapons, and machines that could reduce human labor. Some of his predictions sounded unbelievable. He imagined handheld devices that would allow people to communicate instantly across great distances. He predicted a future where information would travel around the world in moments. He envisioned automation performing dangerous work instead of humans. Today, smartphones, wireless communication, robotics, and automation have become ordinary parts of daily life. Not every prediction became reality, and some ideas remained speculative, but many proved astonishingly forward-looking. On January 7, 1943, Nikola Tesla died alone in a hotel room in New York City at the age of 86. There were no grand celebrations, no enormous fortune, no worldwide recognition, only a quiet ending for one of history's greatest minds. But after his death, the world slowly began to realize what it had lost. Scientists, engineers, and historians revisited his work. Many inventions once considered impossible suddenly seemed visionary. Today, Tesla's name lives on in physics, engineering, education, and technology. The SI unit used to measure magnetic flux density is called the Tesla, in his honor. His inventions helped build the modern electrical grid. His research influenced wireless communication. His experiments inspired generations of inventors. Even one of the world's most famous electric vehicle companies carries his name as a tribute to his legacy. Nikola Tesla never became the wealthiest inventor. He never received all the credit he deserved during his lifetime. But his ideas transformed civilization. Every time you switch on a light, charge your phone, use Wi-Fi, or rely on electricity that travels hundreds of kilometers to reach your home, you are benefiting from the vision of a man who imagined the future long before anyone else could see it. Nikola Tesla didn't just invent machines. He helped invent the modern world.